About 3 or 4 weeks ago, I decided to assess my first homestead garden. It was in really sad shape. It's fragmented due to the clay soil, and things were not going well. For those of you who know me, I'm not a quitter. So I decided to do a summer garden reboot, or what I call my 2.0 garden. This is the results of that reboot. What I did was first make sure that my new plantings were protected from the deer. Those are my main problems. So, voila. This is going pretty well. What I had to do was find ways to keep the deer from eating our food. This is one of my winter squash plants that actually came up and is doing well. I planted tomatoes and squash in here, and this is what I'm talking about. This was eaten by the deer, and this is the reason why I have to keep these puppies covered. But if you look over here, here's another winter squash. This was eaten off. If you look in here, you'll see where the deer ate in here. This surprised me when it grew back. So this is coming up. Some of what I'm showing you here is are things that I've uncovered for the purpose of this video, but I cover at night. These are a couple of the Japanese daikon radishes that are ready to harvest. Some are small, and then some, like this guy, came out really nice. So the short answer is yes, I am able to grow in this garden with the adaptations, the changes I've made. And I had to put more into this area here. Uh, these are the black figs. This is my, it looks like something turned over inside there. These are my dwarf oranges. I have a net on here also to keep the critters out. And the Frugal son-in-law and I put the shade cloth on because it was hot. It was in the 90s for almost a week. So things are going well. Before I go down to the lower end, I think I should go back up this way and show you one more thing that's going on. Here's more squash. For some reason, squash is doing better than a lot of the other plants that I planted, but hey, I'll take it. I have no complaints. At this point in the season, it is early September, the first week in September. I don't have a lot of time before I have to put in my fall starters. This was a big surprise to me. This is my little nephew's patch. He's a little frugal gardener, and he likes um, salads, and he also likes BLTs. So you'll see a couple different types of salad in here. His just took off. He just turned 8 years old. There is tomatoes, and there's the salads. These big guys over here are pumpkins, which got planted late. So we'll have to see how that goes. This, oh boy, I had to replant because the soil is hard, because it wasn't getting enough water. You can see the deer prints. This has been an issue with me from day one. We built this 6x8, and I am not going to give up until I get carrots out of it. However, this is what I showed you guys a while ago. And these are also carrots. These are in a window box. So I could probably harvest these now if I would like, but I'm gonna let these go for a while longer. And if you're wondering why the deer did not eat these, they actually did about 2 months ago. And since then, I've been keeping them on the porch. I moved them down here because I knew I would forget to put them in the video if I didn't. So they will go back on the porch for another week or two, and then there'll be harvest time for those. Not sure if I showed you this one in here, but yes, things are going much better than before. Not perfect. I would say probably about 60 to 70% of what I planted is actually not just coming up, but doing well. And I'll come back for these guys. This did not. These are my Tropia onions from Italy. They didn't do well. This has not been maintained properly, but there are strawberries and blueberries and grapes that are supposed to be in here. Next year, I will be able to tend to this better. Moving over to my sweet potatoes. This is doing well because I keep it covered. There is some weeds in there, but you can see sweet potato vines poking out. I uncover it to water it, give it sun, and I recover it. That's the only way I can keep the deer away from it because they come right through here or they come through here and it's dinner time. Well, used to be, but no more dinner. Put a stop to that nonsense. This is one of my lavender plants that I brought up from the old house. There's two. This is my new addition. One of the other changes I decided to make, because if you look over here, if you recall, this all up and down this area is where I planted the beans, and this is when I learned my lesson from the deer, and I don't know whatever else came through here and pretty much ate everything up. This is a smaller version. So I decided to put this up because I will not be defeated. And here we have, and here you can see the peas coming up. Over here, here where the posts are, these are the beans. I probably should have planted more, but these are bush beans. And there's a few pole beans in here. This netting came the other day. Cost me about 10 bucks. It's well worth it. I'm going to be using this for the next couple of years. So I'm not done yet. This is, it's starting to get exciting again. But this is kind of a lesson to gardeners who start out and things don't go well and they just throw their hands up and give up. No, don't give up. Just find another way. Find a way that works. These are my, I can't even, okay. These are honeydew, but they're not going to make it before the frost. So I'm going to probably have to put those in the high tunnel. These are bananas, same thing. But look over here. More squash. This little patch was not here. I took what I had on the homestead. I did a video on this. I know there's a possibility that more of this soil is going to wash down here. So I made a barrier, a wall, and it worked out. More squash in here. This is going to be lettuce. I just used leftover soil, which is the reason why it looks kind of crappy and you have weeds and things growing up in here. This is a tomato plant in here, and more squash coming up in here. Now there's something a little bit different. If you notice, it's not covered. Well, this I cover at night with this, but over here I don't cover because this, well, it says squash. That's not squash. This is a pepper plant, and the deer don't care for peppers. They don't care for these plants at all. So I think I'm good. It's worked out so far, and I'm going to take a chance and continue to leave this just like it is to see. Is it going to be a deterrent? Is it going to continue to keep the deer away? I think it will, which is why I think it's worth taking a chance on doing it. So up in here are the Kennebec potatoes, which have petered out. I'm going to see what I have up here because they don't seem to be growing anymore. It's one of the first things I planted, by the way. So that is pretty much it. On the other side, I have another small patch, but it's not even worth checking out because I didn't plant much over there. So this is the old area. This is the area that failed. And I'm basically getting all my tools ready for the fall, because in a couple of days, I'm going to start planning for the fall and winter, which is also going to be a first time, brand new experience. But this is where we are, gang. This is where we are right now. And I would say, yes, I am much better off than I was before. I don't have a ton of food that's coming up, but I do have something. I do have more than what I had a month ago. So my reboot, I'll call it a mild success, but still success. And I'm going up here and harvest these Japanese radishes. And I have a lot to do because I'm going to have to use some of my old faithful, some of my old pots from the old house. And I'm also going to do a video on repurposing these milk crates. So that's it for now. Life is good on the homestead. I'm the Frugal Gardener. This is just the beginning. I intend on gardening year round. I intend on updating you guys on the progress of the homestead. And I hope that you do subscribe. Please repost this video if you find it helpful or useful. And tell your friends. Hit the subscribe button because I plan on being here a couple times a week. There's one thing I did forget to show you. I did replant a couple of these. I believe these are squash plants, 1, 2, 3 in here. And somewhere up here was another pepper plant, but that's okay. I'll show that to you in another video. So for right now, I'm the Frugal Gardener on the homestead. Remember what I always tell you guys. When you grow your own food, you will always know where it comes from. Catch you in the next video in a couple of days. You guys have a great day.